Scrub-a-dub-dub, what's in the tub, what's going on, my subscribers? Ace here, and I am here with my CCL Season 2 Round 11 match against young Jakib, the head coach of the Baltimore Bergmites. And now you guys can look at my team and see what I already brought because it wasn't in the team builder, so you guys should already know what that is. If you haven't seen it, make sure to go ahead and check out that team builder. But looking over Jakib's team, he did bring the Milk Tank, the Spiritomb, the Weavile, the Medicham, the Pidgeot that is Mega. There's no really reason for him to bring it regular, and then the Scolipede. Now, potential leads here, I was like, okay, I could lead off with Excadrill and be in a pretty good position because I can hit pretty much anything for really good damage. But if he does lead off with a Scolipede, I'd more feel inclined to lock myself into Earthquake, which is kind of bad just simply because then he could just swap into the Pidgeot and get free off Hurricanes because I can't do anything because I am Choice Scarfed. So I figured that actually Blastoise is my best lead off because I'd like to lead off with the Cacturne and get up Spikes. But I was like, if Scolipede leads off, I can just get Mega Horned, and that's not a great position because then he's going to Speed Boost and all that shenanigans and Baton Pass it on my Sucker Punch, and I'm not trying to play that game, so I figured Blastoise is my best overall lead. And I looked over his team, and I was like, hey, he didn't bring my Lodic or Dugtrio, so that means that Raikou can do some decent amount of work switching around with some Volt Switches, and I don't have to worry about being trapped by Dugtrio, and Cacturne basically can just set up spikes and then die, and that's basically its sole role in this match. So I was like feeling really good, and I was like, yeah, lead off with Blastoise, and then I just kind of scout from there what he wants to do. So we're going to get into the battle right here and see how Jakib kind of responded. So Jakib is issuing his challenge here, and he's like, boy, what you doing? I'm like, boy, you already know I'm leading off with my boy Wartortle. Wartortle. But he leads off the Scolipede here, and I was like, okay, that's respectable. Now, I'm just going to Mega up here and go for the Dark Pulse because it's going to do decent damage. I figured he might protect here and try and get the Speed Boost off and pass it to something. But anything that comes in here can take this hella damage. And he doesn't actually protect the first turn. He actually goes for the Swords Dance. I figured probably trying to get the maximum amount of damage off of me on the following turn when he can attack. But I go for the Dark Pulse here just to get some hella damage off on this Scolipede, bring him down, and he actually doesn't know that I'm rocking the Aqua Jet here, so I'm like chilling like a villain. I'm like, boy, stay in here. And I hit him with his Aqua Jet, and I'm like, hurt? And I'm sure Jakib's like, damn, I got blown away. Shoutouts to Weezing Hubba who told me to put Aqua Jet on there basically. Like we were like, yo, that would actually be kind of a clean set. And that brings in the Medicham here, and I figure he's probably Scarfed, and I don't really want that much damage on my Blastoise just yet. And I bring in my Weezing here, and I'm like, okay. He's going to go for the high jump kick, probably. He could go for the Zen Headbutt if he really wanted to. But that actually does a hell of a lot of damage. And right there, I was like, man, is this man actually banded? Because that did hella damage. And I just go for the Will Spear because I'd really like to burn that Medicham because you saw how much damage that fucking... Jesus. Even to, like, fully physically defensive Weezing, that did hella damage. Jesus. But I go for the Will Spear, which is nice to get on the Spiritomb because normally this thing is a Sucker Puncher. So that's going to be nice to just have that off. Now I'm going to swap out here because I don't want Weezing getting Will Spear and getting worn down just yet. I'd like to have him as a swap in still the Medicham. So I bring in my Cacturne here and take this Will-O-Wisp because like I said, mostly this thing's job is to set up spikes against his potential Focus Sashers like the Weavile, just chilling there. As well as anything else, like if he wants to run like Focus Sash, like anything else, that's fine by me. But like here I just taking this burn. Like I said, we're taking some burn damage. We're chilling, smoking. But yeah. He swaps out here as I set up my first layer of spikes here. He swapped into his Pidgeot, which is a really smart swap for him because that gives him that initiative. Because most likely either I was going for a C-Bomb or Sucker Punch if I was going for an attack, which one wouldn't hit at all and the other one is resisted. Here I figure he might try and make a play and predict me to swap or anything like that. So I just go for the Spiky Shield here because he might go for the U-turn, because that is a common move on the Mega Pidgeots. So I Spiky Shield up here, just try and see if I can catch him doing something. Let me get a little extra damage on this thing before Cacturne goes down. Because there's no way I'm swapping this thing out and having something else take an Earthquake, or not an Earthquake, a Hurricane. Hurricane! But I go for the Sucker Punch here, and my boy Cacturne does some hella damage. Boy, I'm burned. That still did like 20%? Oh my lord. But yeah, no, then Cacturne gets whipped around like a fucking ragdoll. Boy, I'm sorry Cacturne, you didn't deserve that. But he did his job there, got the nice spikes up. Now I bring in Raikou here because I know I resist the Hurricane. So I'm chilling like a villain right here, and I'm free to just Volt Switch out here because most likely he's not going to keep the Pidgeot in here. So I just Volt down out of here, and this Spiritomb comes in, which is smart swapping because he is usually pretty defensive. So I get this nice Volt off here. And we're turning out of here. And I actually get a crit, which is a little unfortunate for Jakib, but at the range he was at, like he would have been at regardless. Blastoise comes in here and Aqua Jets because Blastoise is normally faster than Spiritomb because Spiritomb is hella slow. So I can just Aqua Jet and clean him up because the burn damage, like I said, would put him into range of Aqua Jet anyway. So here I just Aqua Jet because I don't want anything else taking a Sucker Punch and I have the priority, so why not use it? So now I'm in a really good position here. I believe I'm up 5-4 and like Jakib is kind of drawing at straws here. He brings in the Medicham here and I was like, okay, this thing is definitely banded. But he could be scarfed. I want to see what he is. And he goes for the high jump kick here because Blastoise is Surge's job here. And I didn't actually think that it would OHKO. I thought I would be able to kind of get damage on this thing or kill it with the Dark Pulse. But he actually OHKOs me straight up. And like from that, I'm like, okay, confirmed he's banded. I should have known that from the Weezing damage. But I didn't really have any great other swap-ins because I like to keep the Weezing just for the Weavile late game if I could. I go for the Iron Head here because I figured he'd probably swap out because Medicham is his banded one and he'd like to keep it for the end game. And just because leftovers there, I know that I can't OHKO this Milk Tank with or I can't kill this Milk Tank with another Iron Head. So I'm gonna swap out actually into my Weezing here, and I'd like to get off a Toxic on this fat ass Milk Tank and force him to Aromatherapy up so I can just whittle him down slowly. He goes for the Stealth Rocks here, and I'm like, that's fine by me. Nothing on my team really takes too much from the Stealth Rocks, but that's fine either way. But yeah, here I just go for the Toxic as he goes for the Body Slam, just to get residual damage on me, and I'm okay with him whittling me down a little bit because I'd like to get into Custap range, but I was just trying to like calculate in my head how much health I need to come back in on Stealth Rocks. But I get the Toxic off here, which is nice, and he gets like nice leftovers recovery right here, and like I'm like, okay, you're on a timer. Show me if you have the Heal Bell or not, and so here I'm just gonna go for the Flamethrower here because if he wants to swap anything in, he can catch a Flamethrower. But he goes for the Body Slam here, and that's just gonna put me out of out of Custap range right there. So I want to be able to swap in with the Custap Berry on the next thing. So right after this next Body Slam that he gets off, I'd like to just swap out so that I can come back in and get my Custap Berry off. And but he actually Milk Drinks here, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Like, you're still on a timer regardless if you don't Heal Bell. But from the way he's playing, he doesn't look like he has Heal Bell. So I'm just going to keep Flamethrowing here and whittling him down. Even though he's thick fat, I just know this is my best option just to whittle him down. And like I said, I wanted to put me in Custap Berry range just so I have that free swap into either the Weavile, the Medicham, or the Mega Pidgeot, just so I can get off that Custap Berry Destiny Bond. And then something comes down with me. But he goes for the Body Slam here finally and puts me in that Custap range. And then I get paralyzed as well, so I was like, oh, I hope that doesn't factor in. But now here I'm in the Custap range, and I think, well, I thought at this time that I could come back in on Stealth Rocks, but actually I had miscalculated, and I'm pretty sure that's, I think that's exactly 12% of my health from max HP, because then that means I can't come in back on the Stealth Rocks, which is unfortunate for me. But I swap out here not knowing that just yet. And I bring in the Extra Drill here because I figure Durant does the job here, and I can just lock myself in Iron Head because of the toxic damage he's going to be taking this turn. Regardless if I get paralyzed or anything, I'm in a fine position here, and I'm fine taking Extra Drill down and sweeping with combination of Raikou and Extra Drill here. But I don't get paralyzed on this Body Slam, which is extremely fortunate for me. He's going to get leftovers, but the toxic damage is going to take him down probably around to like 5% health. Yeah, right there. So now I can just hit him up with this young Iron Head. And hit him with a hurt. Goodbye. And lock myself into Iron Head over like Rock Slide or anything because the Medicham is still swapping. But he brings in the Pidgeot here, and I was like, okay. I'm fine with getting this Iron Head damage because I still have the Durant that outspeeds, and I can't miss you. But I actually get the flinch here, so that's hella nice. Extra Drill's going in, boy. Catch his head. I know you ain't looking back. You flinching. He hit him with like the fake out punch, and then he popped him and made him flinch, boy. And now I know I'm faster than this because I EV this specifically to outspeed Scarf regardless, but we know he's banded just based on the damage. Well, he OHKO'd my Blastoise basically. And then he just gets off a high jump kick here. He doesn't miss or anything, which is good for him. Like, I didn't really deserve another flinch or anything right there. I'm not going to try and do anything with that. Because I always have the Durant right in the back that I can bring in. But I didn't know, I thought Weezing could come in here, and I'd like to just bring it in here just to kind of show off the Custap set, but I actually just die here, and I was like, oh, well. I thought I'd actually live on like 2 HP, but I was wrong. Everybody makes mistakes there, but in the future I'll remember that to like look at the HP kind of spread for the Stealth Rocks. But I go for the Iron Head here, just to take this thing out, and then I can just end game sweep because the only mon I believe he has left is the Weavile here. And even if he's choice scarfed or banded, well, if he's banded he doesn't outspeed, and if he's scarfed then he's not killing me. And he comes in, takes that spike damage, which means he can't be focus sashed. anymore, and he reveals that he's actually Life Orb here as he goes for the fake out because he will take the recoil as I take the damage here. But now I know that means this is basically game right here, simply because he can't outspeed me, and I can just hit this Iron Head. As long as I hit, I'm fine, but I don't think there's anything he can do to kill me anyway. But I get off the nice Iron Head there and knock him out, and that's going to be GG. Young Alabasta Arcanines at 10-1, and we are chilling like a villain, man. Great games to Jakib, nice 2-0 there. I wish that I had realized that the Stealth Rocks actually wasn't going to allow Weezing to come back in, because then I could have preserved it and made it a little bit bigger of a thing. And I wish that Blastoise didn't have to go down to a high jump kick for Medicham, but that thing is a savage with Choice Band. Yeah, but if I had realized, like, I wanted to go for the Aqua Jet there, but I still thought for some reason he was Scarfed. Like, at the time when I was playing, I thought that he was Scarfed, he was just buffing it, and that just pure power of Medicham did that much damage, because I figured he was probably like adamant or something, and that's why it did so much. But like, I should have realized that he was banded at that point. But yeah. Yeah, and then it would have been nice to get the Aqua Jet damage off. But yeah, either way, it really didn't end up mattering there, because Durant and Excadrill plus Raikou wrapped up the end of the game, because Weavile plus Medicham didn't outspeed my two Scarfers, and then Raikou doesn't get killed by Weavile in the end game anywhere, and I get the Thunderbolt off. So regardless there, I had the game pretty much clenched up. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button down below if you did enjoy and if you learned something from this battle. Yeah, I'm happy to help you guys. Make sure to check out everybody in the CCL. And the finals will be coming pretty soon. We're going to be wrapping up into the playoffs pretty soon. And I'm looking pretty good in the contention of getting into the playoffs. I think it's actually confirmed that I am going to make it into the playoffs. But I'm always trying for that #1 slot. You know, I always want to do the best I can. So yeah, you just show your support for your Alabasta Arcanines if you want me to see you do well and take this league, take the cup. I want that cup. I want that cup, man. I want it so bad. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.